Hello, hello. That music feels a little loud. Alright, how is that level? The levels. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. I think that's hopefully close enough. All right, so first things first. Hold on, I really need to just duplicate this scene and make one a starting soon. What is starting soon? What? I already have it. No, I don't. Why are you lying to me, OBS? How could you lie to me like that? Oh, it's the same as a text layer? That's silly. I guess rename that. Oh, hello, hello. Hello, Twitch chat. I don't think we have any YouTube chat. Oh, interesting. Huh. Does Google Chrome have like... I am so confused. I can't change the volume of Google Chrome in Windows settings? Interesting. But yeah, let's get rid of this craft. Alright, I can see Twitch chat. What is up, everyone? Luna, great to see you. Genu, great to see you. Giannis, hello, hello. JVV2, welcome to the stream. Thanks. I've made some starting soon images from using Dolly. I've made a couple little funny ones just for whatever. The suit makes a comeback. It is back out. We are doing an interview today. Yes, I'm on Windows for my stream PC. Most of my development happens on a Mac. Yo, Giannis, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you. 2 in 1 day. Yep. I'm hoping to do 2-a-days on a lot of Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays moving forward. So those are going to be my main stream days. I'm planning on doing early morning stream consistently. So 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time. And welcome also Sinanaya. The headphones are Philips. I was going to say I'm blanking. It's the Philips SHP 9500s, I think. Yeah. And it's weird because they made an update. Yeah, so here is the Amazon link if you're curious. Synania. I'm glad to hear that, Giannis. Yeah, that is the hopes. You invest more in keyboard, and that makes sense. I do invest quite a bit on my keyboard. I prefix all my things with a type like B thing for browser window call thing. Yeah, I should. I mean, yo, I got so much to do on my OBS setup, if we're being honest. It is far from perfect. Today we are streaming on YouTube and on X. And X chat is a huge pain to keep an eye on the computer. Today we are streaming on YouTube. Oh, that's me. Yeah, they don't have like a pop-out chat for X chat, so I just don't think I'm gonna see anybody chatting on Twitter. My apologies for that. You finally broke 200k daily impressions. Yo, good job, Luna. Crushing it. Crushing it, the Twitter game. I need to get back on it. I still need to apply a lot of the tips you gave me. I just haven't had time to sit down and plan out some things. I do actually have the file for this. That is good news. Man, my camera's lagging. Also, I'm like freaking orange, dude. Can I not be so orange? I think it's a skill issue. Yeah, if we bump the bump the saturation down a notch. I don't know, man. I'm just an orange kind of dude. Trash is not coming. No, I need, so that's, yeah, I need to, hang on. This is a dark blue. Windows Shift C, 0B1322. 0B1322. Whoa. 0B1322. All right, we're gonna do some on the fly OBS. On the fly OBS graphic design, because I do not have, yeah, so I have a whole host of issues today, but as is always, we are doing a bit of a setup stream while we go. So the, please tell me I have the font. No shot. No shot I haven't. All right, that looks the same, right? Oh goodness. I'm not gonna be able to do this without restarting OBS, huh? Yo, I am blowing it. Wait, can I work around? Okay, let's see. Photoshop. I don't even have Photoshop installed, dude. Oh, so scuffed. All right, new strategy. If I change the font for both of them, then the font will be consistent. So that's what we'll do. What's a decent font? I mean, could always go with the classic Arial. Bump the size down a bit to like 185. I don't know how I feel about the zeros there. Is that chill? Are those zeros fine? That's probably fine. 125. It's not going to be precisely centered, and that is okay. That's still quite large. All right, so let's see. We're gonna like roughly center things. Are those the same height? Or the same like X? What is that coming out of the E? That's coming out of the A. Yeah, that looks pretty on. All right. I love graphic designing in OBS. This is the best. This is the best. Okay, and then guest. How is that? All right, all right, all right, all right. Test 1, 2. Okay, so now we just need Acorn to get in here and we will do the sound check. How's everyone doing today? Senanaya, she is, I think, a famous software engineer. She streams on Twitch. She is a co-founder and CTO of a startup. So they make Funi.com. Yeah, I need to work on all of my scenes, Luna. I really should have a backdrop that's not just a black screen. But right now it's like, I don't know, what's the best backdrop I have? If I want to use this AI image. Like, there's a backdrop. Is that better than nothing? I feel like it's not. Let's actually check this. All right. I haven't found a good way to get my microphone, like, out of the frame, but I don't think it matters all that much. Last hacker standing. Yeah, right. It's not the worst background. It's more interesting than nothing, I guess. All right, pull up the YouTube chat. Hello, Mode, over on YouTube. Good to see you. Thank you for chatting. And I don't think... Did I post the Amazon link? I got a link of the headphones for Sinanaya. Oh, yeah, I posted that up there. Yes, so we will be having Acorn join us. Nope, that's not what I meant to launch. What am I doing? Oh, dear goodness. So we are going to do a interview. We're going to be talking about her journey in tech. She is the co-founder of Funi.com. It's a very, very cool games website. So think like the old school Flash games, but load anyway. But yeah, she works on this games website. So it's like the old school Flash websites, but it's all done with React and React 3 Fiber. And I should add a Fossabot command is probably the next thing I should do. So we are doing a interview where we're going to be talking about stuff and things. We're going to talk about her journey in tech and what that's looked like. That's super fun. All right, whatever. And I need to prep something for after the interview. We are going to play some games together. So excited for that. Oh my gosh. Wait, but actually everything broke so hard in my game. All right. That's super fun. All right, cool. But yeah, so Acorn works on this startup, and it's a very cool website. I should put it in Twitch chat. Ooh, thank you for the hydrate, Ryan. I do have... Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, Luna. Hope you have a great time at work. Appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate the lurk. Lurking and working. Stuff and things are important. I mean, the cron job continued even after the sister reboot. And a cron. But yeah, we will give her a shout out once she gets here. I'm going to restart this thing. So yeah, I won't say too much more until we get into things, but the cool bit, holy, like so much stuff has updates. Interesting. The cool thing is that Acorn does a lot of development. I want to say almost all of her development on stream. So because it's a startup, they have complete control over whether they stream it or not. And she made the decision as co-founder to stream it. And so most days, oh, dude, I hope this Google Chrome thing isn't gonna totally screw things up. I don't know why I can't change the volume of Google Chrome in Windows settings. It's like hard set at 1. So that'll be real interesting. We'll make sure this works. I should check the call to see if she's waiting. I do not see her in there. But yeah, assuming we get her in, what else is on my checklist? So I should get, let's see. I have some interview questions somewhere. Volume mixer is okay. Yeah, it's a weird, like it's the volume mixer in the Windows settings, which has worked fine in the past. But like specifically for the Chrome app, it's currently hard set at 1, which is odd. Maybe if I close Chrome, I can change it. There's a button to reset all, but I'm worried that's going to screw something else up. It's just such an odd... Now it's not even showing up in the mixer? Questionable. All right, let's see. I guess I could test this by just going to YouTube and playing something and seeing if y'all can hear it. Let's pause. Pause this music. Make sure she's not trying to... Oh, wait. Go back to my call. Okay. Get rid of that audio. Okay, so can y'all hear this? Okay, that's loud for me. It's a freaking ad anyways.
Something powerfully simple.
Now y'all should be able to hear it.
It's time to get foundational nutrition at drinkag1.com.
Oh.
At Roger Dunn Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that
that's
binds
actually
us all,
exactly...
the collective goal to transcend the ordinary.
Okay, shut up ads. Okay, we should be working. Chrome should be working on the sound there. Let me pull up chat. Did y'all hear that? I'm assuming you heard it and it was highly obnoxious. Yes, thank you, Ryan, for confirming. Yeah, so I did stuff and things. All right. Commands. Interview. Funi.com, right? Europe, that is Funi. Oh, that's the other thing that we could have done is we could play some Foonie games together, which would be fun. Okay, so I've got the channels all set up properly, so I believe y'all should be able to hear. Hey, Michael, what's up? Yes, I got a background. Acorn should be showing up soon here. All right, we've got exclamation mark interview, so that's a new command that should show up. And then what else was I going to do? QA. And that will be, we have a question and answer tool. So if anybody wants to ask questions to Acorn, we have a link. And I'll put that link. All right, so now we've got exclamation mark interview. Yeah, thank you so much for coming by, Ryan. Great to see you and appreciate you. Have fun on your calls. So you can put questions in chat. I try to focus on the interviewee during interviews. So generally, myself and the interviewee are not tracking chat super closely during that time. And this tool gives us a great way. If you want to put in a question, it queues them up. So then we can pull it up at the end. I try to do the Q&A portion kind of in the last 15 minutes of the interview. So, hey, what's up, smart dog? Thank you so much for coming by. Is it a progressive web app? I believe so. Are you trying to access it on mobile? It's a web app. It's from Ping. So it's a Ping Q&A tool. It's fairly simple. You could click that link and see if it works. So we have QA, we have interview. Yeah, I don't know any other commands I want immediately. I'm debating. Do I want to do this thing before I do the thing? Nah, we'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. But yeah, so we should have Acorn joining soon. All right, yeah, she just said she's going to be on in a few minutes here. The interview is with Acorn 1010. So we have this new command. Oh, does that not link? I guess I was thinking the @ thing would link to her stream, but I should, all right, updated the command. Twitch in shambles, yeah. Well, it does it like with the, in the title, for example. So I know I have the title, I mention her @ tag, and then if you hover over the title in Twitch, like it'll show her socials and stuff. So that bit's nice, but it doesn't seem to, just linking her in chat doesn't seem to do much. But yeah, so I'm prepping some last minute things. She's prepping some last minute things. We should get things going in a couple minutes here. Mobile users. Oh, does the QA link not work on mobile? Sin and I, if you've got questions, then I'll be sure to skim chat for you to make sure I can I catch any questions from you. Yeah, I assumed the app worked on mobile, but not hoverable. Oh, are you talking about the title on Twitch with her tag? Also, thank you, SMR. SMR.gg. I called you smart dog earlier, and that was like not even a little bit close. Apologies for that. And YouTube chat, thank you very much. The QA link is right here. Appreciate y'all reminding me. If you're watching on X, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I will probably not be watching that chat because X chat sucks on desktop. I mean, I can pull it on my phone, but now I'm like streaming myself like 5 times. Yeah, it's just tough to keep an eye on all 3 chats, and Twitter is the one chat that there's not a super reasonable way to bring that up on desktop. So that's a bit of a bummer. Certainly a bit of a bummer, not gonna lie. Hang on. Not that email. I'm on the wrong email. Gosh, I need to open the door because it is very warm in here. All right. Oh, goodness. I'm so super organized, y'all. I am like crushing on organization. But you know what? It's all good. Because around here, if there's one thing you've learned on my stream, it's that we do it live. Great to see you, Solo Rogue, by the way. And yeah, H-Meta came in and dropped some huge gift bombs today. Crazy generous individual. Yeah. All right. Yes, ex-Google engineer. That is correct. She is a very, very smart individual. Just absolutely crushing it in the development side of the world. Am I an ex-Google engineer too? No, I am not. I had several friends that worked at Google. I interned at Microsoft, so that's my only FANG experience to speak of. I only added it to my Twitter bio because Twitch chat bullied me into doing that. Let me see. I need to keep checking the room. There we go. Okay. All right. We got Acorn in the call. Let me cancel my music and then pull up the scene and we'll see what happens. Because I will almost certainly have to... All right. First audio test. Acorn, can you try talking? Oh, I can't even hear you. I like your googly eyes plant, but I cannot hear anything coming from this. What the heck? Wait. No, don't mute sound. Sound was muted on this page, and there's nothing to unmute? I'm so confused. Wait, what the... Okay. I think I can hear you now.
Okay.
Test 1, 2.
1, 2 test.
Oh, fantastic. Audio just worked like first try. That never happens on this stream. All right, Twitch chat, can you hear Acorn?
Oh, hey, already live. Okay.
What's up, Dylan? Yes, I got the stream rolling. If you'd like to, I can mute us on stream and go to a BR back scene, and we can chat for a minute if you'd like to.
I'm just setting something up real fast. For like
No
a minute.
worries. I'm setting something up as well. I think we might be setting the same thing up, actually. Is it for the post-interview activity?
Sort of, kind of, not quite. Well, kind of, sort of. I've also
Kinda,
got that
sorta.
open.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I still need to run over there.
My UI got all messed up.
Dude, same. Yeah, I had to update like 45 add-ons. They must have done a major patch.
Oh man.
Yeah, I literally went to update and like 20 add-ons had updates. So I think that's a Blizzard issue. But all right, are you prepared to say hi to stream visually?
Yeah, sure. Give me like, well, I mean, kind of, yeah. It's like, sure.
I need to figure out the scene on OBS, and so fingers crossed this works, but it might be a minute anyways. Nope, that's definitely not working. I think I have to copy paste a new link, perhaps. Sorry, stream, for the black screen for a second here. Oh, no. I know what it is. I need to add you to a specific thing and ping. All right. Now they can see you on stream. Fantastic. And then we pop over here, and it appears to work. Wow. Look at that. For once in a while, I actually like got most things working properly first try.
I'll open up stream in a sec.
Yeah, big pogs in chat. Yeah, you shouldn't need to, I mean, you should hear me through the website here, and we have a Q&A link for chat. So chat, if you use !QA, there's a link where you can input questions. We usually try to save those for towards the end of the interview, so the last 15 minutes or so. And then we have, yeah, so we'll try to keep a bit of an eye on chat. Like some people were saying, they might not be able to use the link, so we'll try to keep an eye and copy paste some stuff while we go. But generally, I try to stay focused during the interview on the conversation. How dare you? But yeah, a little quiet, Shane Codes said. I bumped her up a bit in OBS, so she should sound louder now. Let me know if it's still too quiet.
All right, test volume.
All right, from my end, levels look good. I can bump it up a little bit, though, if she is still on the quiet side. Oh man, I wanted to... All right, chat's saying it's good, so I think we're good there. Before we get started, I'm now in a good spot, so I can get out of this thing. Sinanaya is so excited. We have a couple people in chat here who are very excited to hear from an ex-Google engineer who's working on a startup. So I'm actually, oh my gosh, I opened the door and now it's like frigid here because we're having very rainy weather in the good old West Coast. Awesome. And we got the bot commands are working. All right, so I'm going to put you right here. And then where was that other window I had? Fantastic. I'm going to close my window now, though. Now that my wife literally came in just to open the door, and then it, like, dropped 20 degrees in the last 2 minutes. So I'm actually going to close that before we get started. So be right back on my end. And Acorn, you can entertain chat or just...
Alrighty. Yeah, sure. I'll take questions.
You sound like a little doubled for me.
Doubled.
Yeah, there's a interesting...
Right.
Hang on, I don't have this window open a second place anywhere, do I? I need to double check that. Your audio just has like a bit of resonance to it, which I might just be imagining things, but wait, no, I know exactly where it is. I know where it is. Hold on.
Okay. Cool. So it's not on my end, hopefully.
No, I had this once before where like the embed on OBS also plays the sound from the browser because it's a browser embed. Let me see the properties. Normally it would show up in the audio though. This is very confusing. Oh, there we go. Guest embed. It's on all the tracks. Why can't I find it in my main mixer though? OBS, come on. Because I have the audio from Chrome and chat can hear that. I don't know if it's doubled for chat or just for me. But let's see if I refresh that embed. This is so weird. It's just the fact that my audio mixer is not displaying that channel. If I go to the advanced audio properties, I can see it. But I can't mute from there. I mean, I can take it off of all of the tracks and put like minus 75 dB on the volume, I guess. Which is one way of doing it. All right, try talking now.
Talking.
Okay.
Hold on, Sunanaya has a question for me, I think.
All right, if you want to answer that, I'm going to step away for 1 second, and then, yeah, I'll be right back.
So am I doing more architecture or development now, or product management? So I'm responsible for like pretty much everything you see on Funi.com as far as code goes. So that means I'm doing the architecture, I'm doing actual code, I'm doing lots and lots of developments, I'm doing a little bit of stuff with some AI things for Funi, kind of basic there. Just in general, full stack, doing all the things. And then also, I have to coach people who are like starting with Funi, which isn't too many. So like, review pull requests, make sure people understand how to code, stuff like that. And like, it's not just me, right? There's also the co-founder. He's not very technical, but he handles like HR and things. So like if we have to hire somebody, he's more on that side of things. He also handles investments and whatnot. And then there's a designer, so I don't have to worry about that. You're developing a PWA now? Heck yeah. React is awesome. TypeScript is awesome. Ionic is an interesting choice. When you say Ionic, do you mean capacitor.js? So capacitor.js is pretty great. I don't know if you've seen it. It's kind of like the successor to what Ionic had before. And it just lets you make mobile apps and stuff very easily. It was dictated? Dictated. Oh, like your message was dictated? I don't quite understand.
Yes, Acorn's definitely a one-woman army. All right, so yeah, chat's saying they hear the echo a little bit as well. We're kind of just starting with Q&A, so you could take Dylan's question next if you want. What tech stack would you like to explore if you had the free time? It's an interesting question.
Yeah. So I would like to learn Golang at some point because Golang to me is like a very back-end language. It can do a lot of simultaneous requests at once. If you're like, so it's very scalable. It's fast. I'd also like to get more into like AI and stuff. So there's this book translation project I want to work on more. So yeah, I'd like to do a little bit more of that. The pain you felt when the answer was an "Oh, camel." Well,
I knew what he was fishing for.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't need those yet.
You can't.
Maybe.
Can't take every anti-camel comment personally, Dylan.
Howdy, cry.
All right, so yeah, I think I fixed the audio. So Twitch chat should hear you. The really interesting bit here is that it might not make it onto the VOD depending on how OBS is respecting my settings. But we're streaming on YouTube as well, and it should be, hopefully it'll capture over there regardless. Goodness, I have such an orange face, man. I don't know how to fix that though, because that makes it look way worse. I guess I could do this. There, I'm a little less orange. So, I think your story is really cool, Acorn. There's obviously a lot of people here that are very excited for it. So yeah, for starters, I'd love to hear. Well, let's start off just out of curiosity. How many jobs have you held in your life?
Not many. So back when I was young, like, 15-ish or so, I used to mow lawns and I used to do after hours at school for like a year or two where I was like a janitor. Um, and then when I was 16, my mom forced me to work at Arby's. So I worked there for like 2 weeks and then quit. Yeah, that was not for me. They stuck me on the fryer
Oh my
because
gosh.
I wasn't very good with people since I don't know, it was like a little hard. So they wanted me in the back away from all the people. Um, but I was worried about like the oil, right, getting on my face. I was
Oh
not
yeah.
about that.
That's a
Um,
Yeah, that's rough. I had a friend that worked at a fast food place, and he actually said like his acne went up tenfold when he was on the fryer. Like, and literally that was like a known issue. So it's not a unfounded fear.
that's crazy. Yeah, that was my fear, and I guess I dodged a bullet with that one. After that, I worked as a math tutor for like a local community college. I loved that job. That was great. People would come to me with math problems ranging from like pre-algebra all the way up to like Cal 2. And at the time, I'd only had up to pre-cal or something. So it was very hard.
So you were self-teaching a bunch of math that you hadn't yet done, and simultaneously turning around to teach it to others that you were tutoring.
Kind of. But like, I let them know, right? For the harder things. They were very understanding. But that was really fun. And everybody was awesome. It was great.
That's
Um,
rad.
After that, that was my last job until I started working for myself. So during college is when I really got into programming and I just started making stuff on my own. I'd never took an internship for programming because I didn't want to drive. And this is before remote jobs were really a thing. So, I still don't know how to drive, but
You don't know how to drive. You just never really needed to.
yeah. And then there was another job after that. I worked for a small company for about a year. I really liked that job. And when they hired me as like a software engineer or whatever, but I very quickly transitioned into like the lead software developer. So I was teaching everyone, everybody would come to me for like architecture and everything. My responsibility there was to migrate everything from um, like CodeIgniter and like co-location into AWS. So I switched everyone over to Laravel. I had like deprecated the old Perl code.
Oh
Um,
man.
there was a lot of it. It was crazy, and that was my job for like a year. I also had to do like a really hard database migration with zero downtime.
Oh, those are not easy problems. Wait, so your first job was working for yourself, and then
hmm
this was your second job. And what kind of company was that?
This was like an automotive industry company. I don't want to go
Okay.
into too specifics about
No
like the
worries.
actual company.
Yeah, you only need to be as specific as you want to.
Yeah.
But now, was this before university?
No, no, this was after.
Okay.
Um, yeah, this is after the whole thing with university that happens. The whole reason I dropped out. Um, and then this is slightly after I sold like my first company, which was a very very small. I sold it to a friend for a few dollars. It wasn't much.
Still, that's an exit. That's pretty big. So you made your own company, worked for yourself, and sold that company. Then went and
Mhm.
worked at another company, and then was it Google?
Yep, that's right.
And so what was that like? How did you come across the job at Google? I know we have a lot of people in chat that are curious. That might be a fun story.
Yeah, I didn't join Google the conventional way. So I was browsing Reddit one day, slacking off at my job, and there was this thing that you could type into Google, like AngularJS directive, and if you typed it enough times, the screen would fade in, and you could do code challenges. Like this terminal would show up, and it started off relatively easy, but then the levels very quickly like jumped in difficulty. Like they got really hard. Maybe like to like a harder or harder than that leak code problem. I don't know. It was tough.
Okay.
But if you solved enough of them, then it would congratulate you, saying that the source was with you, and to apply to Google, and like you could upload your document through the whole like console thing.
That is so cool. So it was like an Easter egg that Google had set up, which had a series of code challenges. But if you made it far enough, it was like a secret backdoor into the resume system where you could basically just slide your resume right on top there, huh?
Yeah, it turns out it was actually a recruiting tactic by Google. And it was awesome because when I actually finally got to Google, I got to meet all of the other people who had joined Google through that way. And I even got like a shirt for it too.
That's so cool. That's one of my favorite like recruiting practices I've heard of. I love those kind of like fun little things. I wish we had some more of that in the modern time and it wasn't always the standard resume funnel. But that's really cool. And the fact they had like a legacy system set up so you even knew like other people and got to get a special shirt out of it. That's pretty rad. What's the shirt say?
It says something like foobar or something in Python, except it's a little bit scrambled. I don't know where it is off the top of my head, but
No worries.
probably like in the laundry.
It's all good. Oh man, that is so cool. So you got into Google through the kind of side door, and so I'm trying to stitch the story together. So this was a couple years after, not graduation, but after you finish up school, after you were done with school for your purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. By the time I joined Google, I'd been coding for, oh gee, I don't remember how many years. Let's see, how many years has it been since Google? It's been like 4 or 5. 4 years. I was at Google for about 4, so maybe 6 years, 5 or 6
Okay.
years of code experience.
Nice. Do you remember the first code that you wrote?
It was terrible. I do remember it. So this was way back. This is like early high school. I met a friend who was like a really close friend at the time, and he wanted to get into C++, and I wanted to make games. At this point, I'd had a little bit of experience with like RPG Maker, which was a lot of fun, but he was learning C++. So I was like, hey, can you share your C++ code with me? And so I took it, and then I added some print statements, std, C out, whatever, and some go-tos, because that was, of course, a good coding practice right there. And I made my first spaghetti. It was delicious and horrible all at the same time.
As our first code always is. Oh man. So at what point in your career, as you kind of look back on things, at what point in your career would you say you worked the hardest?
When I was at college. So this is something that I tell people, is that to really, like, if you really want to learn fast, get a project that you want to build and build it. And this is exactly what I did. So I was doing like some private server stuff in WoW, and Cataclysm was about to come out. I wanted a tool that could take the Cataclysm map and just move it to my private server before Cataclysm. Nothing existed. I needed to build it myself if I wanted this thing to work. I didn't quite achieve my goal, but I did achieve something I think even more impressive than that. I built a tool that could like change the world. I could lower it, I could raise it, I could move where the objects were. I could replace tiles.
Wow. So there's
And
like a
this
full
was,
map editor level
yeah.
kind of tool for your
Oh,
private
yeah.
server. That's
Yeah. And
wild.
like all
I
of
don't
the
think I've ever heard
buttons.
of people in a private server like actually manipulating the world that much, right? Normally a private server operates off the same, from my experience at least. I don't know. I haven't gone too deep, but sorry, continue.
Oh, yeah. The code was terrible, but like, it didn't use a canvas or something that you'd think it might use. It used buttons, lots of buttons,
Oh my
a grid of
gosh.
buttons.
That's awesome. Nothing like a good novel solution for a tricky problem.
Yeah.
So you said the point in your career where you worked the hardest was during college, but you didn't
Mhm.
mention the schoolwork at all. You just talked about that was a time that you had a project that you really cared about and worked really hard. And I love that because I've talked with a lot. Even in college, I remember clashing with my fellow students because people were frustrated that we didn't learn like the skills we needed for a job directly in the classes. And my recommendation, something I always preach, is like college is really good and you're going to learn a lot of theory and a lot of the foundation stuff, but you have to do projects during college too. And when I was in college, I had some jobs and things where I very quickly in my like second or third year, I was putting more time and effort into projects and independent learning than I was my coursework. And I feel like that was a big like life hack that I think people still discount a lot. It's like it's not enough to just do the coursework. You do the coursework to learn enough, right? Like you want to learn stuff, but you can really focus on what you actually care about and the stuff that's going to serve you in your career. And like grades do not matter in college. Like unless you're going full academia and you want to get like a PhD and everything, like employers do not care about your GPA. Um, and so that was something where it's like there's a point where you can let go of classwork and think, balance your effort accordingly more based on your priorities rather than thinking you always need A's. But I just love that you hit on college was the hardest time of work because of these projects I was doing, not because of the schoolwork itself.
Yeah. But like it was more than that, right? Like I was slacking off with my schoolwork, but I would code so much in college that I would dream in code.
Mm, I think I think a lot of I've heard that from more than one individual. And I think anytime you're that engrossed in problem solving, it's bound to happen from time to time. Have you solved bugs in your dreams before where you woke up and you were just like, I know exactly what to do?
I can't recall ever doing that, but I just remember waking up and like I was like, dang, I was dreaming in code. Like it's just the code. It's just like you're just there.
That's so cool. Minus the interface, minus the keyboard, just like directly connected to the code.
The interface is there. Like you still see that. You see like the code and the screen, but you don't see the keyboard. It's just you're looking at a piece of code and you're like, okay, why is this bugged? What's broken here?
Oh, that's awesome. So, in that hardest work period of your career, other than dreaming in code, what were the results that you saw after that?
Well, I made a lot of tools, a lot of
Hmm.
things. I made a lot of really big companies really mad. Um, so like it started off with a calculator. That was like the first thing in college that I built. That was a calculator for like WoW for item stats for my game. Then it was the map masher. And then it was this thing that was like a trainer. So this is a tool with like a bunch of hacks in it where you can check some boxes and you can do some other stuff and it will just go crazy. Like you've got God mode, so you're invincible. You can have something that teleports you really fast across the map. There's like this whole packet editor business where you can modify packets that are coming from the server to the client and from the client to the server. You can block packets, you can change things, you can respond to packet events with other stuff. Um, there's a lot, right? So that was the next thing. And then I built a packet editor that was standalone, which was generic. So that means it supported more than one game. It started off with just this one game in particular, but then I branched out to other games like I branched from like MapleStory to Wonder King. I made one for WoW. I never exploited with it on WoW at least.
I mean, you
I made
never
one for
exploited with
Terra.
any of these things in any games, right? So we
Oh,
don't
of
need
course
to.
not. Right? Yeah.
That is
Um,
so cool. Just like, so early on, so you're getting into tools, you were building tools, but you quickly made the jump into security adjacent topics, right? As you were dealing with these, we'll call them development tools for the games that you were working with and playing.
mhm.
Was there a lot of reversing involved in that? And kind of how did you, yeah, I guess how did you get around to that? Because there's a lot of, cybersecurity focused or reversing focused engineering stuff. But was this organic for you? Were you just self teaching as you went, kind of out of a desire to build these different tools?
Yeah, self-teaching. Like you want something, and a lot of these things are gated behind like a paywall if they exist at all. So, as a broke college student, right, you don't have a lot of money, so just build it yourself. And that can be really hard, but you can kind of learn a bit of reverse engineering. So, I was using things like Cheat Engine. I tried my hand at IDA, but I never really quite understood IDA. It was kind of confusing. There's another one called OllyDBG.
Hmm.
And so what you would do is you take a program, you would inject it and hope it doesn't cause a virus or a keylogger or something on your computer. And then you would try to see what it does. So you would check a box to enable something, you'd scan the memory, and you'd check a box again, and you'd scan the memory, and you'd see what changed. And doing that, you're able to figure out like what that checkbox is actually doing into like a game or something. So you can kind of reverse engineer all of these kind of like hacks or whatever. And then some people got real creative. So you had people who would use a program like, oh God, what was it? Themata or something. Basically, you'd have a function, but then it would be virtualized. So it'd have like this whole VM or whatever for that function. What that did is it made the code really, really hard to find. It like obfuscates the hell out of your code.
Hmm.
And I worked a little bit in that too. So I worked on making code obfuscated. So you give it some simple assembly code, and then it would take that code, and you'd still get the same results, but it would become like crazy complicated. So like an example would be add 4 to this number. Maybe that is pushing a value to the stack and then popping it, and then somehow the value becomes 4 at the end of some crazy number of functions.
Just adding a bunch of
Or function
intermediate
calls.
steps to obfuscate. So you were getting experience both with the offensive and defensive side of things.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was the point in your career that you worked the hardest. The next two questions may be the same answer, so that's totally fine. But at what point in your career would you say you learned the most and or learned the most rapidly?
Definitely when I was working the hardest. It's really important if you're trying to learn that you are consistent.
Hmm.
So if you take breaks here and there, you're not going to learn as fast, right? You're either improving your skills or they're getting worse,
Hmm.
right? So anytime you're not improving, then it's going to start stagnating and getting worse.
I like that. And it's, yeah, I guess the reason I expect the answers to these questions to be different is because working the hardest is not always, it's not always the most educational or inspired work, depending on the places we work and the jobs we have. Some people have just very high hourly jobs, but I think that's so true in just the sense that, yeah, if you're working the hardest and applying yourself and learning and pushing yourself outside of your boundaries, then you're going to be learning the most at that point. And at what point in your career would you say you felt the most inspired?
Probably the same. And I want to circle back on the previous question real fast. When I was at Google, even though I was working a lot, sometimes it was more in like presentations or other things that were non-code. So you could argue that that was still working hard, but definitely wasn't learning anywhere near as much as when I was doing the whole like working on my own, reversing and learning all those other skills.
Definitely.
Sorry, what was the question one more time?
So this was kind of, when did you feel the most inspired in your career? And you could also take the
Right.
corollary and talk about a moment in your career where you felt the least inspired.
Sure. So most inspired again would probably be the whole MapleStory slash other game stuff that I was doing during college, um, because I just wanted to code all day. Just you know, it's that was the fun thing to do. Um, when I was least inspired would be probably towards the end of my time at Google,
Hmm.
um, because my manager changed or whatever. So I had a new manager. Um, it was going to be at least like a year more to get like a promotion, and there was like nothing I could really do about it. And the code I was doing wasn't really fulfilling. It was somebody else's code. Um, not really as fun. So I'd say that was probably the least inspired part I was.
Um, I totally lost my train of thought there. Uh, when you were, yeah, so I guess you kind of answered this here, but when you were least inspired, what was your response? What was the ultimate conclusion of that?
Ultimate conclusion was to quit. Um, right? So it was, I'm gonna work remote, and if that's at Google, great. If it's not, that's great too. And so I quit. Worked on my own thing.
Any regrets since then?
Nope. Um, quite happy with where I'm at so far. Um, hmm. But I mean, like, you mean regrets in terms of like quitting Google, or like any kind of regret?
I mean, we could expand it. So to go to any regrets, I more was wanting to see if you had any, if you had any pangs since then about working at Google, which I kind of anticipated your response, but let's go deeper. Yeah. Have you had any regrets in general?
Sure. So the biggest regret I have probably is not spending more time with my mom.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of this comes down to like I was at Google, I was working like super hard, but there's some things that are more important than money, and I think family can be one of those. So yeah, that's probably my biggest regret.
100% understand that. I think it's yeah, especially early in the career, I think it's so easy to put, 90% of our kind of weight in life on our career. And I felt similarly, like immediately after college, I was like, I'm only going to have one first year of career after college, right? And I had this thought that I had to maximize it. And for me, quickly burnt out in various ways. But yeah, I think that's a big lesson we learned too, is there's certainly a lot of stuff in life that is very, very worthy of our time and our energy and our focus outside of work. Um, so tell me a little bit about how Funi came about. I'd love to hear a bit of that origin story.
Sure.
And if you want to
So
start by just talking a bit about Funi, I also have a command in here. Um, and also, I think now is an appropriate time to give a shout out as well. If you're not following Acorn on Twitch, definitely make sure you fix that. But yeah, and the website funi.com is right there in the message. And I will also post this over to the YouTube chat before I forget. But yeah, if you want to tell us a little bit about what Funi is and then kind of that origin story and how that came about.
sure. So this is during the pandemic. I needed to make money still, right? Like working on your own, you have to have some kind of revenue streams, and this was one of them. And I wanted to play games, right, with my friends. And I have more than three friends, so having four-player games be the limit is kind of hard. Um, and there was this one site in particular called OMG Pub way back in the day, which was great because it was exactly what I wanted. It was kind of like an MMORPG where you had levels, you had items and rewards and achievements, whatever. But you could play with your friends. Nobody had to download anything. And I wanted that. I wanted some frictionless way to play with my friends. So I built it. And it's not really my idea so much as it's the co-founder's idea as well. So I work with like this co-founder who I've been friends with ever since back in the Maple days. Um, and we just kind of worked together to build the site over the last 3.5, 4 years.
That's awesome. I remember OMG Pop too. I was thinking like, gosh, what were the other? There was all these Flash game websites back in the day, and I loved them. But Congregate was another one where they had like a little more multiplayer and like achievement system they built in. But yeah, OMG Pop, man, that takes me back. But I love Funi because it's like the modern, like the truly modern version of that. And like the first time I opened it up, I got that same feeling of like pure unadulterated Flash game joy from like the early 2000s, where even just the interface, the interactions, like it's really, the polish on the site is fantastic. I love what y'all have done with it visually. But no Flash player, like not a Flash player in sight. It's all just React 3 Fiber, and it's super responsive and it's super dynamic. And you have, you know, the gamification stuff built in, you have achievements built in, you have chat and all these different multiplayer games. If you've been around my stream at all, we'll do sometimes Type Royale is one of my favorite games on there. And it's a type racer that's combative, right? And so everybody gets pitted against each other, and it's a big type race. And that is so stinking fun with Twitch chat. I'm like, every time I was doing monkey type on stream at one point, and then it hit me. I was like, wait a second, like Funi has some kind of typing game. I should pull that up. And not only was it like, I was excited to play a game that somebody I know created. Like there's something so cool about that when you're like, no, I know like the people who made this, or at least one of them. But the multiplayer dimension with Twitch chat was just so good, where it was like, oh man, this is a game changer, because now anybody from chat can jump in. And yeah, I don't think anybody's beat me yet. I think I've been pretty much the fastest typer across the board, but I don't think TJ's coming to my stream yet during one of those times. So that might be my downfall. I think TJ's like 160 words per minute or something insane, but hey, once I get one of those split keyboards, I would probably add like at least 45 words per minute, right? I've just got a gear issue.
I don't know. I don't think the split keyboard is going to help you there.
Oh, don't hurt my ego like that. No, it's just the keyboard. That's the only difference. I would totally be a faster typer than Teach if it were for the keyboard.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Okay, so right now you're working, it's just you and the co-founder, right? So there's nobody else at the company. And you are the CEO.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
kind of. I mean, we hire other people, right? But that's like the main thing. Like Grayson, for example, from Twitch chat is helping out a little bit.
Okay, very cool. Do you have any, I assume those are contract work, or do you have any W-2 employees as well?
Oh, just contract.
Okay.
I prefer doing contract work. I think it's cleaner.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And especially because y'all are bootstrapped, right? You haven't taken any sources of funding, or no like venture capitalists. Do you have any investors? Okay.
No investors other than the co-founder. So
That's
it's just
awesome.
completely bootstrapped. And that's important. So I actually got reached out to by an investor, and I turned him down because we didn't need him. And the investor was actually like, yeah, don't take investor money if you don't need it.
That's huge. And that is, I always get excited when I hear about bootstrapped startups or startups that are bootstrapping, because I've been a part of a couple startups that were bootstrapped and a couple that were funded. And there is so much of a difference. It's not that funding is a negative force by any means, but funding is so much larger of a decision, I think, than a lot of startups take into account. And I like that the investor even kind of affirmed that for you, like, oh yeah, if you're fine, that is the correct move. But I think it's a common mistake is taking on money without understanding the full implications of it. And it's so hard to bootstrap because there are so many problems and questions that you can kind of just eliminate if you have piles of money to work with. But again, like on the back end, there's the accountability, there is the loss of independence and autonomy. You are accountable for certain numbers, metrics, or whatever it is that the investors have as kind of their primary goal and priority. And that I think the division of focus that can happen there can be one of the most harmful things for startups, because I've seen a lot of startups that it's not necessarily a bad idea to take funding at the point they do, but they don't understand how much goes into that and how it becomes a division of focus. Like you have to have some amount of focus on pleasing the investors and on delivering to them what they're expecting, in addition to whatever your priorities are for the product, for the, for the company culture, for the philosophy of how you want to grow things. But that is, yeah, I love hearing a good bootstrap story, and it does make every single dollar really count. And I'm sure y'all have felt that.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. I didn't realize you'd had experience with both types of startups before.
And some of them, so the worst experience I had, see, I'm kind of cheating here because in college we did a consulting firm. So I actually ran a consultancy with a couple friends, and almost all of our clients were startups. So I got to work with about 6 or 7 startups over the course of that consultancy, where we were building product, but we were not on payroll. We did not have equity. And that was actually, in my opinion, one of the best ways to go through the startup gold rush of 2012, because that was when the social network had come out and everybody was making startups, and it was a big thing. But everybody wanted to pay in equity, and everybody had terrible ideas and weren't good at startups. And so it was like you could get paid in equity and make nothing and probably work 80-hour weeks a lot, or you could just do consulting and hand them an invoice at the end of every 2 weeks. And it was, you definitely got paid that way. You got paid that way, and you lost the exposure. And so we watched a couple funded startups, not even huge amounts of funding. I think the negative experience we saw, it was $750,000 they got in funding, and it was a masterclass of how not to run a startup. And we got to just watch this company kind of implode over the course of like 8 months. And I mean, investors were not happy. They ended up trying to drag us under the bus pretty hard with it, because they basically said we violated our contract and didn't deliver the product they had asked for. So they tried to point the finger at us and blame everything on us. Meanwhile, the entire budget for the product that we had built for them was like 70 or 80,000 in total by the end of it. And they were spending 40,000 a month on marketing for a product that was not finished yet. So it was like, y'all burned, we were 10% of your entire like funding pool, and you're trying to blame the, whatever on us. And I'm just like, that's not fair. So, but yeah, that was a pretty interesting, definitely a pretty interesting time. And part of where our stories kind of have a very similar note, actually, because I was threatened with legal action. I was working so hard because we basically said it's not worth us to fight anything in court at this point. So we're just going to add the features that they're erroneously claiming were a part of the contract when they weren't in the original statement of work. They'd kind of like worked things in along the way and then tried to point at it as part of the contract. But I dropped out of school for that period, for that quarter. So I was working 150 hours a week or so. I mean, just no, barely any sleep. Didn't go to a single class for 3 weeks. And then after 3 weeks, I was like, I really should figure out my classes. And I opened up the syllabuses for the first time, or the syllabi. And I had a midterm for one of my classes the next day. And it was, I think it might have been discrete math too. And it was just like, oh, I've got a midterm tomorrow, and I haven't watched a single lecture. I haven't opened a book. Like, I've literally done nothing for school. And so I ended up going and talking to a counselor and just being like, I'm going to withdraw from this quarter. So ended up closing things out and kind of got to close the book on that and be done. But yeah, it did impact my schooling a little bit. This is right adjacent to a fun bit of your story too. I was going to say, speaking of legal trouble, I don't know how much, you don't need to mention names, obviously. You don't need to mention any particulars, but I hear you've alluded to it a couple times. I guess we've kind of skirted around this story a couple times over the course of this interview. But Acorn, do you have any experience with legal issues or litigation, perhaps, in your career?
Yeah, you could say that. So back when I was in college and I was building all these tools for these large companies, or people who used their services at least, the large companies didn't really like that, right? So one of the tools I built was like this packet editor. And one of the things people could do is they could summon monsters. So you could summon a boss. You could summon the strongest boss in the game, and it could attack for you as your pet.
Oh my gosh, you could actually get control too. It wasn't just
Yeah.
some
Well, I mean,
hostile creature.
so what would happen is this thing would just attack all of the mobs on the screen, everything, and just kill them. And it didn't matter what level you were. And all of the drops would just go right on top of you. And the large company did not like this.
That's a little bit game breaking, I guess. Just like a minor advantage that could be
A little
gleaned.
bit. So they wanted to put a stop to all this, right? They'd had enough. This had been going on for far too long. And I had been doxxed by somebody. So if you don't know what doxing is, basically they give you all of your info. Like they dump all of your personal info in like a public forum or something, right? That's not good, especially if you're doing things like making hacks or tools or exploits, whatever. So me, being a dumb college kid, was like, that person got some info wrong. I'm gonna dox myself to show them that they got their info wrong. So don't do that. So,
Was that like mostly like was that mostly an attack thing where you were just like, you're so dumb you couldn't even dox correctly? Like was it just
it was
was that your way
probably
of
something.
dunking on them?
Well, yeah, you can't get doxxed if you dox yourself.
That is a power move. My goodness. Yeah, that's a there's a certain swagger to that of just I do not care. Unfortunately, if a large company is looking for your information,
Yeah, that's when you get an old lady knocking on your door. And she was so sweet. And she's like, I think you've been served or something. It's like a massive stack of papers. And I'm like, thanks.
I like that your takeaway was the old lady serving you was so sweet about it.
She was. She looked like a sweetheart. Um, but I felt like my world had just ended, right? So I see it says like the company name on here, and I'm like, this probably is not good. So I immediately go up and I'm in this group chat with everybody else who's kind of like in the scene, and I'm like, I just got served. And their response was ignore it. Pretend the thing didn't happen. Just set it to the side and it'll be fine. And then I was like, no, this is important. You can't just ignore these things. So then somebody in the group was like, I'll pay for a lawyer for you. Never happened.
Oh man.
So what I did is I took it on myself and I was like, all right, fine. Nobody's going to help me with this. I got to figure it out on my own. So I spoke with a lawyer in the local area who was also a really great guy, asking if he could do pro bono work. And the way with lawyers work is you can go in and you get like a free consultation or something a lot of the time. So I go in, I explain my side of things, and he's like, I can't take this case on, but I will get you in contact with their lawyers. And that one step that he did for me probably is the reason I was able to get away like how I did with this whole scene or scenario, whatever. So I went home and I was like, I got to learn case law. How do I learn this? Well, I'll just reverse engineer it the same way I learned coding.
Oh
I'm
my
going to look
gosh.
at all of the legal docs that have come before for all the cases, like Glider v. Blizzard, whatever.
Oh
And
my gosh.
here's the thing, too, though. They don't tell you this. You got to pay. There's this thing called Pacer. Every page you look at is 10 cents. So fine if you're a lawyer.
Oh, for accessing
Yeah.
the case.
Fine if you're a lawyer. But if you're a broke like college kid, this is big money.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Per
because a legal
file, per
document's
page.
hundreds, thousands of pages, over the course of it.
Yeah. So you want to research case law, you better be darn sure that the documents you look up are going to have the data you need.
Oh my gosh. So that was your source that you then were reverse engineering.
So I would look at all these different documents, I would look at the similarities, and then I built my defense based off of all these other documents and the way they had written stuff. And I was very like nitty gritty with the details. I made sure I didn't have any typos. no mistakes, no grammatical issues. I had a huge number of things in my defense. I sent it off on him.
Oh my gosh. So you were served. You were being sued by a massive
Mhm.
corporation. You had no support or help other than a lawyer who was like, "Hey, I can get you in touch with their people. I can at least connect the dots for you."
Mhm.
And you went and reverse engineered litigation as a practice. You reverse engineered a defense, essentially. You found an existing defense that kind of matched, and you self-taught litigation to defend yourself from a massive corporation.
Yeah, just the important things, just the things you need. Like if you need to write a defense, well, go learn how to make a defense, right?
Oh, just the important parts of law.
So,
I'm sure law students everywhere would love that tidbit.
so this got me pretty far. They revised their I forget what it's called, the thing that they send out or whatever. So I had to do a second defense. And then, everything's quiet for a while until all of a sudden one day they're like, "Hey, you got a deposition." So there's this
Ooh.
thing that lawyers can do in a lawsuit called a deposition, and you're required by law to travel there and give a testimonial or a deposition or whatever about like other people in the case. So they're allowed to ask you questions, and you have to answer them truthfully. And this stuff is typed out.
Oh. You froze for me.
The whole thing. So there's a transcript of everything you
Oh.
say.
We
You're
lost
on.
you for a second there.
I froze.
Rewind 15 seconds, just the last bit there.
Oh no.
I think we're good now. I think
Okay,
that we're
okay.
recovered. There's a little bit of lag, but you should be fine.
All right. Okay. I'll talk about what a testimonial is. So in a deposition. So in a deposition, they fly you out. They pay for your ticket. They will give you like some kind of like a hotel thing. So you get like a free stay at a hotel, and then there's going to be like a car waiting for you. For me, this was like not a Lambo or no, sorry, not a what's like the big black limousine, kind of like a limousine.
Oh, like a
Right?
town car.
Something. And they had like the private driver there who worked for the lawyers. And I'm like, oh, this is some cool stuff.
Like, oh, this is serious. How
Yeah,
old were
'cause,
you
like,
at the time?
oh God. Well, I was still in college, so I was like 20, 21, somewhere
Oh
around there.
my gosh. It's a 21-year-old kid self-defending from a massive corporation that was serving you with a lawsuit. Self-taught litigation to actually formulate your defense, and then they flew you out for a deposition.
Yeah. So luckily though, I had prepared. So before this, I had studied what to do during a deposition. And there's this one phrase that you need to remember. I don't recall.
Yep.
So basically, anytime you're gonna say something that's you don't want to say, or I mean, you gotta be kind of honest with this, right? But you just remember the words. I don't recall. So
So you were deposed. You went through that whole deposition. How did that feel? I mean, that I can't imagine. I would be terrified. My goodness.
yeah, like when they went for lunch, I couldn't go for lunch with them. I didn't have any money. That felt awful.
Oh my goodness. Can't even get food during your deposition because you're just a poor college student being berated by a room full of highly paid lawyers.
That was the worst part of it, I'd say. It wasn't that bad. Like everybody was nice. They had like a whole legal team there. And then they had like Nexon's lawyer. They had this guy. I guess I probably shouldn't say his name, but he was. Let's see, what's the word? Fiery, I guess. He was very,
Impassioned.
very passionate about his job. He wanted to burn those people.
Oh, so he was the crusader. Like he was the one that was kind of out for blood.
Oh
And then
yeah, he was
everybody
out for
else was
blood.
a consummate professional in the room and just kind of like they were trying to get their what they wanted out of the whole time, I'm sure, but at least were generally kind human beings about it.
Yeah. So I had to like do this whole deposition. It was a very long process, right? You had this one person typing everything, right? You had somebody recording it with audio, and then you had it also on video. And they would just ask you questions. They'd be like, "Do you recognize this?" And they'd have like a printout of maybe like a database thing or something. They'd have like a whole bunch of other stuff. All printouts. They'd have printouts of like forum posts,
Oh
and
my
you have to be
gosh.
like, oh, I don't recall that, or you have to be like, say, yeah, this was for so and so or whatever.
Oh my gosh. So they had source material from forum, and I'm assuming this isn't first party forums. This wasn't their forums, but from different forums and websites that they were crawling through to identify people in this community and identify different
Mhm.
actions and packages and all of that.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder if at any point in that room full of lawyers, I mean, did it ever occur to you exactly how much cost you were incurring to the company just for existing at that moment?
Oh yeah. I know it was at least like $40 because at the end of the deposition, they were really kind. Like they actually were. I didn't know how to really pay for like a taxi back home. Um, and I didn't really have a map of where I lived, so I'm not good at directions. I don't know how to drive, right?
Oh my
So they were kind enough to print out a Google Maps or something with like directions of how to get home for me. And he gave me $40 for the taxi back home. Like they were very nice.
All right, you say the $40 for cab fare. I was more referring to the hourly cost for every lawyer that was in that room. How long was the full deposition? You said broke for lunch, so is this pretty much a full day ordeal?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how long it was. You could
I
probably say
don't
like
recall.
4 hours. I don't recall. I do recall though that like a month or I don't remember how long after the deposition, they shipped me the deposition, like this giant box of papers for everything that had been said, the whole
Oh my
transcript of the
god!
deposition.
Wow. Did you save that, or what did you
I
do with
wish.
that?
I
I mean,
wish. I kind of have this policy when I move of I just get rid of things. So
oh, that's such a good policy.
I tend not to keep a lot of things around. Unfortunately, that was one of the things I got rid of.
No, that's fair. I was going to say a big box of legal documents is not going to make the cut at some point. It's hardly the most engaging memoir, and it comes with quite a cost if you're moving anywhere that has space and or weight constraints.
It's just a box, you know. It's like not the end of the world, but
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Well, I love that story. I think that's just absolutely insane story. Very, very unique. I don't think there's many who can say they, you know, reverse engineered case law and litigation and how to handle oneself in a legal proceeding to the point of successfully defending. And so, I mean, I guess we didn't really touch on it, but what was the outcome of everything? How did this all resolve?
so I'm not allowed to hack MapleStory. And I can't teach anyone how to hack MapleStory.
But no, there was no monetary damages. There was no, you didn't have any massive debt. You didn't have to pay for their lawyers.
Nope. I mean, they couldn't get blood out of a stone, right? I was again poor college kid, right? So they just realized the cost is just not worth it to them. So we settled for $0.
Wow, that is such an epic story. Oh man, yeah, that still breaks my brain. I don't understand how. I feel like I feel like there's some good analogies in here to some of the video games that you enjoyed so much because this is just such a heroic endeavor in my mind and like such a, you know, the small hero from nowhere rising to defeat the massive
I
enemy.
wouldn't say it's a hero, more like a villain, right? I was the villain in this story.
No, 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 no. It's a hero from our side. This is fine. This is totally You were a
Anti-hero,
poor
maybe.
college student being sued by a massive mega corporation. I mean, come on. How can they be more of a villain, right? Like, come on. Oh, that's fantastic. So I think we're close to the hour. We were a little late on the start, but we're around an hour now. So I was going to hop over to some Q&A and take some questions from chat. Again, if you'd like to, you can use this link to put some questions in the queue. And I think there's an embed that I probably don't have configured properly. But I'm just going to read off some of these questions. Oh, I did see one in chat. Sinanaya in chat a while back was asking about the origin of your name.
Acorn. If you know, you know.
All right, that's a good origin story. One question just came in that said, how do I hack MapleStory? And I will go ahead and answer that because we just learned that Acorn is legally obligated to not answer that question, so I'm not even going to ask it to her.
Don't worry, I'll answer it. My answer is I don't recall.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, so someone asked, what was your best and worst interview experience?
Well, I've only had 2 interviews so far, right? So I'd say this is probably the best one I've had. You know, they're getting better.
I think they're referring to employment interviews. So for
Oh, okay,
jobs,
that makes more sense. Okay, right,
I
okay.
am glad that this isn't the worst interview experience in terms of fun interviews, but yeah, I'm assuming they were talking more in your career. I was like, wait, I'm counting the number of jobs. Like, no, you've had more than 2.
Okay, so I've only had like 2. I guess I've had like 4 interviews, right? Because I had an interview for Arby's, I had an interview for the math tutor job, and I had an interview for like the small company and for Google. The worst one was Google by far, by far. So with Google, you have 2 phone screenings, 2 of these. This is like you've got somebody who hopefully they speak English well, maybe they don't, and then you have to like answer a question over like a Google Docs. First one was fine; I could understand the interviewer. The second one, I couldn't understand what he was saying. It was so hard to hear him, and I couldn't like. I failed that one, but they still proceeded with the interview. So then there was like the on-site 5 interviews.
Yep.
And I think I aced all of those.
Nice.
So I was able to actually get the offer. But then you have interviews from all of the teams that are interested in you, right?
Oh.
So typically, like you're kind of hired at this point, but you have to sort of pass like just talking with them and making sure you're a good culture fit, right?
Right.
Um,
You don't want to end up in a place where none of the teams want you for whatever reason.
right. And the team I went with was actually really awesome. Like I had such a great manager. My first manager at Google was super awesome. And I remember that HR had apparently found out about my whole history with MapleStory and whatever. And they're like, they told my manager this, and it's like, I don't know if we should hire her, right? Like, she should look at her history.
No way.
And my manager was like, no, that's a good thing.
Go manager. That's awesome. Well, and if he looks into it too, I mean, especially after hearing about how you reverse engineered litigation to get your way out of it, like clearly there is a lot of, positive affirmations in there about your tenacity, your ability to learn. I mean, clearly you were not in legal trouble for lack of intelligence or lack of anything they were hiring for. And I mean, ethics, it's a video game, like how much you weren't stealing money from people, it was.
Yeah. I just really liked reverse engineering. I wanted to make like an MMO at some point, right?
Right.
One of the things I did was actually try to make an MMO. So I wanted to know how networks worked and all that other stuff. It was super useful info.
That's so awesome. It's interesting as you mentioned the phone screens, you just gave me like a deep memory callback. I can't actually remember if it was Facebook or Google, but I did have one interview once that was a phone screen. I just remember it was one of them because I had like swag from the other company that I wore during the interview. I think I had like a Google headband that I wore, but it was a phone interview. But I just remember it because, like you said, and it was only over phone. It wasn't over internet or any type of internet calling. And the dude was, it sounded like using his cell phone on speakerphone or something. And like you said, I could not make out a word. And it was one of the worst interview experiences just because I felt so terrible asking him to repeat himself so many times, but I just legitimately could not understand. And it was a fairly like, I mean, when you're dealing with technical stuff too, in technical terms, it was like hard to even gather from context clues, right? Like you would mention certain algorithmic things. I was just like, I don't know what words you're saying right now. And that, interestingly, that might be one of the worst interviews I remember just because it felt like I felt so helpless and simultaneously guilty through that. All right. So was there a best interview experience in there?
Best interview experience?
Other
I'd
than
say the
this one,
small
of course.
company. Sure, I'd say the small company
small
before
company.
Google. So I basically walked in, and I guess they could tell like right away that I knew what I was doing. And so the interview was very easy, and it was basically like you're hired.
Nice. So good interview process because it was very
Yeah.
easy and you knocked it out of the park.
A very easy very fast turnaround.
Oh, that's a big thing too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Quick turnaround makes a difference. All right. I'm not exactly sure on this one. It says, are you bothered thinking about where the best location for a startup like yours is?
Remote.
I
I think remote is the best, but it requires a certain culture. You can't just take like an existing like in office culture and just port it to remote. It doesn't quite work the same. So when I think about like a remote work, I think async. So you can still have your meetings, you still talk and do all that jazz. You still have your requirements and whatnot, but you're not all working at the same time. You could be working at different time zones. And you just need to like make sure you sync up frequently and whatnot. It's a different culture. It's weird.
No, that's a good way of putting it. Because, yeah, I think I've worked at really good remote companies. I've also worked at not great remote company or companies that had remote work that didn't work out as well with that. And I think ultimately it really does come down to a culture thing because it's related but random topic. I don't know how this is going to connect with people, but I had friends in college. We discussed long-term relationships, and it was something because one of my mentors was a guy who actually dated his wife long-term, and they ended up getting married. Or she wasn't his wife when they were dating. But yeah, so they went from long-term dating to marriage. So it was a success story. And his biggest thing was just there's tons of trade-offs. Like there's tons of difficulty. And I'd say similarly with remote culture, a lot of people, like you said, think you can take an in-office culture and just transplant it to online. But there's so many, like there's a lot of trade-offs and you need to take conscious measures to mitigate those trade-offs or else remote can be really miserable. And I think that's a lot of the problem is that people don't think about how much resources and effort and energy you should put into intentionally, working around the problems that are inherent with remote. Great answer, though. All right, this one was from 31 minutes ago. I think it may be talking about Funi because it says the hydration speed is great. What technologies are being used?
Probably about Funi. So Funi doesn't actually have hydration. When you're talking about hydration, you're talking about like you do server-side rendering and then it hydrates. So hydration is like making all of the buttons clickable and able to like navigate, right? Funi is a single page app. So there's no hydration. Whenever you see a button, you can click it. That has its pros and cons. One of the cons is it's not so good for SEO. So Google is kind of like the only search engine that can view a single page app because it actually runs the JavaScript code and it can see the thing. Bing, another popular search engine, does not do this. So if you have a single page app, your content is invisible on Bing. There's workarounds, and I'm still kind of in the process of getting something that really works well here. my solution is going to be using probably a Veek or something. It's like a Vite, kind of like server or static site generation. So during the build process, it creates the page and then it hydrates from there.
Okay, and that's Veek.
Yeah, Vike.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Like next/next, but as do one thing, do it well, Veet plugin. Man, I have been hyped on little bits like this. I recently discovered Vano, which is actually made by some people from a Discord community that I know. So a very, very small library, but it's billed as the anti-framework plugin for Veet, where it's a plugin that just adds in a Hano backend to a Veet app. So Hano is like an API framework that's made for it's made for Edge runtimes, so it's like highly compatible and lightweight. But they made a plugin for Veet that just kind of stitches that on, so you get a very small thing. But yeah, I love Veet. I love classic SPAs. You know, there's trade-offs. There's differences and problems, and then mitigations for those problems. But I still think there are so many fantastic websites out there that are single page apps, and the whole anti-SPA revolution was a little stronger than it needed to be, I think. But that is so cool. All right, so finish that question. Advice for a college senior graduating soon with a comp sci degree looking for a first-time job.
Build things. Basically, it just comes down to that. The thing that's going to make you stand out against all the other candidates is what you've built. Doesn't really matter what school you went to so much, but what have you built? And when I say build things, I don't just mean go like follow a tutorial. I mean, think about like a project that interests you, something you're passionate about, that you want to see exist, and go build that thing. So it does not have to be profitable. Don't worry about it being profitable. Just make something interesting that you would be happy having on your resume.
Love it. What is the significance of acorns?
Again, if you know, you know. I don't want to like dox myself. That's the only hint I'll give you.
They're fair enough. And finally, our last question in the queue is WoW better than RuneScape?
Oh, it's like comparing apples and oranges. Okay, so with WoW, the controls are awesome. You're not going to beat the controls. Okay, with RuneScape, the amount of content that's like in horizontal progression, awesome. You got lots and lots of different skills you can work on. You've got lots of items you can collect. You're never going to have like nothing to do in that game. Whereas in WoW, you finish your raid, maybe you raid log because you've kind of finished all the content until like the next patch or something, right? Kind of different there. Both are great though.
Both are great.
I'd say WoW is better for like grouping with friends though.
That's fair. All right. Well, that's the end of the questions queue. So speaking of WoW, we've got our bonus segment with Acorn today. We're going to play some classic WoW together. And so we'll give a quick break. I'll probably run an ad here and we can take a beat. You can grab a refill on your water, whatever you need to do. And I'm going to read through some Twitch chat and like follows and whatnot. And then simultaneously boot into WoW here. So actually, yeah, I'm going to do ads and I'm going to hop and take a bow myself. But we'll reconvene in a couple minutes and we'll get WoW booted up. And Acorn and I are going to be duo running a dungeon that I think at this point, like it's lower level than us. So I think it's going to be pretty doable. But still, I've never done this with just two people. So I think this is going to be fun. And Wolfred, to answer your question, if you have 25,000 channel points, you can find out. Well, wait, 2-piece or 3-piece? 3-piece would be a vest. You could tell if this was a 3-piece suit. That you could see from, sorry, Wolfred Box Hero in chat was asking if this is a 3-piece suit. But yeah, other than that, some follows. Thank you, Bear Metal, for the follow. Ron LML2 for the follow. Shining Bam, thank you all. And then Dylan subscribed as well. Thank you so much. 7 months. I think Dylan might be my longest standing subscriber. But thank you all so much, and so good to see friends in chat. We do have guildmates in chat. I saw Juicebox Hero. So we've got a couple guildies hanging out. Joel, great to see you. Was watching this on Twitter. Not a good experience. Yeah, Twitter streaming is a little rough. I gave up on keeping an eye on Twitter chat too because there's absolutely zero pop-out functionality. And Juicebox with the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Converted from a Prime sub to a Tier 1 sub. Hey, that's big. Are there any other games similar to MapleStory out there now? I love the idea of a 2D MMORPG. I have the itch to play EverQuest every now and then, but I just don't want the time sink. That's a good question for Acorn. I don't know. Do you know of any?
Not really. MapleStory is kind of the 2D MMO. There's a couple others, but not really.
Yeah, that's how I remember. It was a very special time of gaming. I remember loving the heck out of MapleStory, although I certainly never went as deep as you did. All right. I missed a couple things in chat, but that's fine. So we'll do the ad break now. I'll start a little bit of music for stream, and I will, let's see, what scene am I going to go to for this? We'll do a BRB scene. And then, so Acorn, you're no longer on camera, but if you stick around in the ping call, we can have both of us up while we're playing games. So, quick ad break, and then we will come back and play some games together. And thank you so much for the time, too, Acorn. This is awesome.
All right, yeah. No, I really appreciated this. This was great.
All right, be right back in 3 minutes. All right. I am back. Also,
Alrighty.
Acorn, I don't think I muted your mic for the stream. My apologies for that. So hopefully you weren't screaming anything in the break.
Oh no, I was doing some screamo.
Well, maybe we'll jumpstart your screamo career here. Oh, interesting. I'm getting an update now. I hope that update doesn't break all my plugins I just updated. Alright, so I should change the category on Twitch. Yeah, Acorn's keyboard sounds fantastic on the stream. Do you have a separate mic, by the way, or are you just free ASMR keyboard? Love it.
No, the same one.
It's the same mic. It picks it up good. I really like it. I've been digging the ASMR aspect of streams where you can hear the keyboard in the background. Let's see. I guess I should change the category. All right. All right, tags will be wrong, but that's fine. And then I think I'm going to shut down the Twitter stream. Twitter stream is not the best experience to start with, and I don't want people thinking I'm ignoring them in chat. Who knows? I could have had chatters in there, and yeah, the Twitter live stream experience is not amazing. Let's see. How do I turn off one of these with Restream? And then if you want to re-enable your video in ping, I should be able to overlay you on the game so they can see both of our cameras while we're playing, which I think is a pretty fun aspect. All right, goodbye Twitter.
Let me go ahead and turn that back on. Let me just job advance real fast on my MapleStory character.
Job. Oh man. Guest. All right, there's your cam, and then change this over to this. There we go. Now we got the game. I am way too large. Shrink that down a bit. Okay, here's an interesting... Oh, my game's not full screen. Okay, wait, I'm going to change that to full screen. Turn on audio, keep the volume lowish. Windowed full screen? Wait, what screen did that just go to? All right. That should be better resolution. Okay, so this is a fun aspect. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit, but we can keep music going, I guess. So we've been playing some classic WoW. If anybody in chat would like to join us, by the way, we have a guild called Only Devs on Wild Growth. So we've got quite a few streamers in here. We've got Alt F4 stream, Melky, Acorn, a lot of people from Melky's community, and it has been quite a blast. I see you're running up, you're pretty close. So we did a lot of running this dungeon, Shadowfang Keep, that we were... I can probably up my quality of stuff a bit. But yeah, we had a lot of fun running this kind of during the leveling phase and gearing up. This was lots of fun, long nights with devs in the... Yeah, here, this is good. We had a lot of fun here, but we are a much higher level and have raid gear now, so this should be a much different experience than it was previously. And in theory, like I've seen people, so I'm a warlock tank, and Acorn is a DPS paladin, so we don't have heals, but I've seen there was a guy on YouTube that soloed this as a warlock tank, so in theory I should be able to run this myself, but That would be very difficult, and some of the bosses and stuff I think are pretty tricky. So this will be a much, should be easier, but we'll see how it goes. There's still certainly opportunity for me to screw this up. I'm gonna get a little bit more tankier gear here. Get a little bit beefier. And in theory, we are going to just smash this thing. Yeah, so classic WoW, by the way, if anybody's not familiar, this is the old school game from 15 years ago. Oh no, my wife said I offended Juicebox in chat. My wife watches Twitch chat. Juicebox Hero is also in the guild, the most legendary druid. The personality heart. Did they change that? Did they make that role? Oh my gosh. Hang on, I gotta see. Oh my gosh, this is great. Everybody's engineers now, and then there's CTOs and directors. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Oh man.
Wow. BG really went crazy with it.
Well, he was supposed to make a special role for Juicebox Hero that says personality hire from the jokes in chat. Juicebox Hero is an amazing raider. Definitely not a personality hire.
Okay, I'll put it in the notes.
Oh my gosh. All right, so in theory, I think we should be able to smash most of this, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
If it's too hard, I can always get on my mage.
Yeah. I think we should be just fine. The main issue is going to be balancing my health and mana. But if I drain properly, we shouldn't have too much downtime, and I picked up a bunch of food at least, so. Oh, and you're just pulling everything. You're making this real easy for me. So whatever I'm draining should die last, by the way. I think in general it doesn't matter too much, but whatever you see the green beam going to, I'll get some more health back if we leave that one alive while the full drain life goes off. Yeah, this does not seem too difficult. Man, we just smashed this compared to... I remember we were struggling with this dungeon.
This is, like, absurdly fast. Oh, wait, do you want wisdom or might? Might, right?
Wisdom will probably be better because then I don't have to eat as much to tap in between pulls. I also didn't bring a bunch of bandages, which I should have brought, but hey. Yeah, I think wisdom will be better uptime, which will be the main thing.
I don't have many buffs on. Actually, I do have one thing I can do. Oh, I have to be out of combat, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can use some consumables. Yeah, heck yeah. Oh my gosh, this is just going so much faster with your DPS than when I did this solo. Yeah, I'm gonna get my food buff. Gotta get all those consumables. Just make health stone. Oh, that is a good point. I definitely should have health stones. Thank you, Juicebox, for teaching me how to play my character. That was needed. Yeah, this is the right rank, right? Alright, so this is the first boss fight. Oh my gosh, you're just gonna solo him before I even get a chance. Oh, why did I think I was gonna have an easy time holding aggro? This is Acorn we're talking about. So yeah, in our guild, Acorn is like the most sweaty try-hard person by far. Got a freaking 99 parse. So if you know anything about this game, the score thing, I don't know, like the min-max thing to do if you're really competitive in WoW is that you can record parses for the logs, and so you get to see how you performed relative to the rest of the logging population. And it's pretty skewed because it's not like anything automatic in the game, so you have to care enough to actually be logging your attempts and everything. But Acorn got a 99 parse, which means she had higher DPS than 99 percentile of the people that are in the logging system. And that was without wild strikes, which is basically essential for melee to parse. And that was on our last raid, which was a pretty epic thing. Oh yeah, you're just giving me no time to get aggro here.
It was also without the epic two-hander, which is like
Yeah.
a 20% DPS increase.
Oh, I'm so grateful for your physical DPS too, because this courtyard is so miserable without it sometimes. Alright, so again, we're gonna have to... Oh, you can stun those, though.
I can.
Alright, so leave the other one up for,
But will I?
Heat. Gosh dang it. Oh, why did I drain him too? That was a bad idea. Alright, where's the one that's not immune? Okay, leave that servitor up for a bit, and that'll give me a bit more life steal. Did you heal me, or was that just my drain?
That was oh, Divine Storm heals.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, Divine Storm will help a lot as well. Yeah, we don't need to do a full clear, by the way, so... Oh, wait, I should tap a little bit. Oh, and I didn't use my consumes.
Actually, Divine Storm is healing as much as you, just about.
That's so sick. Oh my gosh. I already got my well-fed buff. Alright, so we'll probably clear the rest of the courtyard on this pull and then pull the boss. I'm a little paranoid about dying, which I probably shouldn't be. Oh, the anti-magic shield. Alright, well I can't do anything about that one. You can't decurse, right? Isn't there a curse somewhere in here that's gonna really suck for us?
There kind of is, but I'll decurse myself, so this should be fine.
Alright, and then... just stun this guy. I'm just gonna drain this guy. Stun that.
Well, it's on cooldown.
Oh my. Oh, it's fine. We'll have the, I should bind my food so I can eat it faster. Control 3, that seems as good a thing as any. Alright. Now you get to kill some horses. Leave that one until last. Yeah, watch, this is where we get the bags. Goodness, yeah, with your DPS, this is just so much easier. These things are just melting.
Your DPS is pretty high too.
I'm doing something. Alright, hammer the, yeah, whatever, they're gonna die too fast anyways. Oh, not anymore. Not for me, at least. You got it. Yeah, these anti-magic shields were such a pain when we were leveling. It was just like... Oh, man.
Oh, we got the bag.
We got the... Oh, we did?
Yeah, we got the bag.
Nice. Is it, I have it. Is it unique? Yeah, it is unique.
Yep.
That's hilarious. I called that too. I was like, yeah, this is the run where we get it, not the 40 times we cleared it for the stupid
The dagger.
The dagger, yeah. Oh, man. Man, I do have to say, you've been, I mean, it's fun as a tank, because it's good to feel pressured, but, like, you've definitely been my only real, oh, and I can DE everything, so I'll need on stuff, I guess. It's been fun having you in raids, because you're the one in raids that makes me, like, actually have to be on top of threat. Oh, man. I mean, you and Melky both, I guess. Both of you will open up pretty heavy on things, and suddenly it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big crit. And then I taunt back. It's like, oh, that was a second big crit. Hey, what's up, Standard Robot? How you doing?
It's to send a message.
It's to send a message. I love it. We are done with the interview and doing some games now. This is the fun portion of these interview streams. You get to just hang out with whoever I'm interviewing. I did Fortnite with Jason Langsdorff. That was a super fun stream. Did a league game with Zayu. I'm curious to see, and some of them, so the other option with my interviews is if people want to do some pair coding, and that I'm definitely anticipating more as I like interview, you know, like open source maintainers and people like that, because if somebody's built a library or has made something, obviously that's a wonderful candidate for, oh no, he interrupted me. That's a wonderful candidate for like, oh yeah, let's pair code on that thing, and you can like teach me about this library. So like with Finite Singularity, he helped me set up his OBS plugins, which was super fun. But I am curious to see as I do more of these interviews, you know, how many people are going to prefer a game versus doing some pair coding. So we will see. Yeah, as they're getting higher in levels, this is definitely gonna be taking more health, but my goodness, you can just solo these things at this point. Juice says, see, this is why I'm a great team player. You never have to worry about me pulling threat. Oh, Juice, you've had some good crits. I've seen some good threat out of you. The part of the issue is that at this level, spellcasters are not the best in general. Like, the scaling from melee is definitely better in a lot of regards. After the gear I got on Sunday, yeah, you got geared. Alright, that's BOE as well, I guess. But yeah, in general, melee seem to have slightly better scaling right now.
I feel like I should have brought my mage on that run. My goodness.
Oh, I know, because there was so much caster gear. It was
Oh,
wild.
it was so much.
And these are the ones that are shadow immune, which doesn't matter when I'm doing all fire damage anyways. Suckers.
Oh, next phase is going to be OP for mages plus warlocks, because mages can buff the warlock's fire damage with Scorch.
Oh, that's right. And we already have a bunch of, like, crazy, we already have a decent amount of multiplication because of, what is it? Incinerate plus the Lake of Fire now. They have a rune, so Lake of Fire has a fire damage boost. Man, I shouldn't even be casting in the late. These things are lasting like 2 seconds. I'm gonna eat for a quick second here. Just get up to like 75% before pulling this room. Alright, don't kill this first one, because I'm going to put the life tap on him. Oh, the silencing. Okay, good luck.
Yeah, these guys are going to be a little dirty.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's the wailing ones. We just kill those first, and it shouldn't be too bad. Oh yeah, that silence is quite annoying. Oh my gosh, your crits are insane. Sheesh.
All right, wailing one down.
Alright, I'm gonna get to full before this boss. The ads are wailing, so we should try to nuke the ads first, although I'm sure we'll cleave all of them a bit. Oh man, we didn't even pull them. That's interesting. And they're not silencing right now. Maybe these ones don't silence. Nope, they silence. They definitely silence. Just got double silenced plus a stun.
I'm shocked at how easy this dungeon is.
Right? I mean, I knew it was going to be easy with the levels and the gear, but like, you might be able to solo this, if we're being honest. My goodness. I love that the Divine Storm is helping out with the heals too, though. I totally forgot about that, but that makes this so much easier.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh man, maybe I should bring my mage for the extra heals and damage, but no, this is
Not even necessary at all. Oh yeah, a lot of,
Oh, they're all wailing.
yeah. Luckily they stacked their silences on that first one, so that didn't seem too bad. Okay, now they're staggering the silences. I got AoE taunt, so you're good. Alright, I think this is the last one with the silences. Oh my goodness. Yeah, surprisingly easy. Oh, you want to roll for the chest? Ah, we don't have Milky.
Sure.
It's locked.
Yeah, but I'm a blacksmith with no keys, so.
Well, you won, so that's all you. Alright, this boss, is there
Awesome.
anything special?
I think this boss is just a DPS race or something.
Yeah, because he buffs.
Oh, I was attacking the wrong boss.
You're fine. I'm sure we will survive. Is this the raid? I always forget.
I think it might be. Maybe. Nope.
I'm gonna eat for a quick sec before this pack. Well, I guess we can pull this solo. I know it's not as much fun for you as the 5-pack, but... Yeah, this feels like just as fast as we were running it with a 5-stack back at the beginning of the phase. That's kind of
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Dungeons are gonna be crazy in phase 2.
Oh, I can't wait for dungeons in phase 2.
I'm gonna try to go in with like full world buffs when we start.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Alright. Oh, this is where we get all of the skill-based curses. Good thing I don't care about that. Oh, my inventory's full? Really? Meaty batwing. Alright, so these ones, what is it? Sons of Argol, I think, have the hard stuff. Something about it. They do a curse or something.
It just does some damage. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh no, my axe skill is reduced by 100.
Oh no.
Whatever will I do?
My bow skill just got reduced.
Not the bow skill.
Paladin's most important skill right there.
So if I was better on like timing my life taps with this drain, I could definitely see this being pretty quick and feasible solo. Okay, you just went for the whole shebang.
You gotta have some more, you know? Need some friendos.
The whole kit and caboodle. So what has been your favorite part of Season of Discovery so far?
Ah. The runes are really cool. Probably the people, though. It's been really fun just playing with everyone.
That's definitely how I feel. And again, if you are interested in playing with some devs, we are on... Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. We pulled a lot. Is this the whole room?
Wait, that's not the server we're on.
This could be... what's the server?
Wild Growth.
Wild Growth. What did I say?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to need to shape
Oh, we'll
this
be
up
fine.
here.
Or maybe we'll just... I'll just... Oh, actually, no, you're gonna die. Here, let me just do this real fast, and then we'll just... do
Where
this.
did my health stone go? I made a health stone. What happened to it?
Oh, shoot. Heck and heck.
This was a big pull.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
okay. It's okay, we can... Oh, actually, no, that's not okay. Nope, okay.
Oh, it's a good
okay,
thing I
hold on.
soul-stoned you.
You did? Really?
No,
Where?
I did not. I did not
Oh,
soul-stone
okay.
you.
Don't worry. I got this. I got this.
No, if you can get
Wait,
out.
hold on. Yeah, I'll
I
just do this.
forgot how far away the graveyard is, so hopefully you can get out and res me. I love that moment of, no, this is fine. Everything's fine. Did you hit the guy patrolling above?
I
feel
don't
like
know
we
what
pulled
happened
the
there.
last guy in the room somehow, and then he just pulled the whole room. Maybe I tab targeted the wrong thing and pulled from the end of the room. I don't know.
Maybe I body pulled or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was more than one. That was definitely more than one mob. I was like,
There was
oh,
a
yeah.
few.
There was a couple. There was a handful.
I wonder if I played that better if we could have survived. Like if I'd bopped you or something.
But you bought me and then you die instantly because they all aggro onto you.
Yeah, but I was kind of kiting a little bit.
Yeah, I think if we both started kiting back with the staircase, we could have like gotten out of the courtyard and like pulled some shenanigans. But we couldn't even like jump down into the courtyard. Well, if you jump on the roof, do they despawn? Are you killing them?
No. Oh yeah, I'm just killing some
Oh
ads
my
real fast.
gosh. You're insane.
No, I wasn't killing the big pack. No.
Oh, just clearing some of the smaller mobs. Alright, if you get back to me... Oh, I lost my world buff. No.
Oh no.
Not all the consumes and buffs.
How are we gonna clear this now?
Not my hit rating against level 20s.
Oh, well, that was a good try, you know.
I'm disappointed. I should have played better. We didn't
We
get a
almost
death
got
in
it.
here. It was close. It was very close.
I'm almost back.
Alright. Yeah, you will definitely hit the res before I get back to the dungeon even. Oh man, that was good. So what are your leveling plans? You haven't stacked any quests, have you?
No. Well, it's a tough one because I can get gold or XP.
Right.
But I realized I like gold too much.
So have you already cleared all of the quests pretty much for gold?
A lot of them. I could still complete some.
I'm so poor in this game right now. I really should do more of that, but when is it coming out? It's the all right.
There's a world event on right now, by the way, too.
There's a what?
There's a world event going on right now, too.
What
The
world
Lunar
event?
Festival.
Oh.
Get these coins of ancestry. You visit all the little places all around the world.
Oh, yes, the Lunar Festival. Okay, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And if you're super duper ultra mega sweaty, then you can get some food that restores your mana.
Oh, the percentage based?
Uh-huh.
And save that to
so,
level 60?
Yeah, then you speed run with it. If you're like a caster.
Right.
Because you eat it at the same time as like your normal water.
Oh, because you can do both of them?
Mm-hmm.
That's OP. I like how you just continue clearing. You're like, what tank? Alright, let me get one cast off just so I get my increased fire damage. Yeah, there's the curse. It's Argyl's gift. Ah, yeah, that's not that much. That feels so minor at this point.
Alright, I got the last one, so you can get this one.
Oh, you have keys?
No?
Nice. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for that. That was very helpful.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, now he's putting the curse on you. Well, you can self-decurse, you said, though, right?
Yeah. Divine Shield every 5 minutes.
Alright, so these last two bosses are going to be the real tests. Like, realistically, this whole dungeon should be pretty easy. But Argyl and the, what's the dude that has the Void Walkers after him? That one might be a little tough.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be fine.
I'm sure. Oh no, he resisted. They are high enough level. I needed the world buff. No.
Yeah, we're killing like the same level elites.
Yeah, at this point it'll be a little tough, but yeah, it should be fine.
I mean, I think we could do a RFK, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, that, oh man, that would have been the really fun one. That might be a really long one for stream though, because that would surely have a little more experimentation.
A little bit more death, probably.
Probably a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to summon Gaknar. Freaking Gaknar.
It's always Gaknar.
Yeah, well, what can we say? You hate him, but you still need him. I don't know what happened to my health stone, though. I definitely summoned a health stone. Do not believe I ever used it. And then I did not have a health stone anymore when I needed it, so... Ooh, I should soulstone you. Because then you could res. One sec, let me do that really quick. If I can find my freaking soulstone button. Ah, there it is. I need some
Well,
food.
we're assuming that I'm gonna die. You can soulstone yourself too. I mean,
Hey,
just
why are
like
we assuming you're
risk
gonna
it.
die?
Well,
I'm still stoning you because you can res. So if we do have a wipe, we
But
can
if
get
we
back into
don't
it.
have a wipe, then we could prevent a wipe.
I could just pop back up. You think that's the play?
I think it's risky.
It is certainly risky. Are we confident ourselves on beating this stuff? Or
Oh, definitely,
yeah, no, screw this.
100%.
We don't need the insurance policy.
I'm
Insurance
sure we'll
is
be
for
fine.
cowards. Oh my goodness, he is melting.
I still don't understand how these things work, because I know they heal.
Yeah,
Somehow?
there's some kind of heal. Is it Consume Shadows? That sounds like a familiar spell. Did move Twitch chat at some point. What's up, Solo Rogue? Yes, we are playing WoW now. So the end of every testimonials from tech. Oh, which I just realized. No, that should be fine. I have music going during the recording, but this music is copyright free on YouTube, so we should be good. Yes, so I do these testimonials from tech, and they are very fun. I'm gonna eat for a second. I really like the interviews. The optional bonus portion of the interview is at the end of the interview. Oh, I just realized I wasn't really paying attention to like, it's fine. We don't need to see chat or anything. At the end of the interview, there's an optional bonus portion, which is a game or pair coding of the interviewee's choice. So we've had a lot of people pick multiplayer games that we can play online. It's a super fun way to kind of finish out the interview and get to enjoy something that the interviewee enjoys. And so far we've had League, Fortnite, Classic WoW, and then Finite Singularity helped me with OBS plugins. That was the closest we've had to a pair coding one. But there's like a couple open source maintainers that I'd love to get on the show. And for any of those, pretty much, I'm assuming that we'll do some pair coding, so that would be a really fun one. All right, anything special here, or just kill everything?
Kill them before they kill us.
All right, sounds like a plan. Oh no, I need to get this cast off. Oh yeah, easy enough. Alright, now I'm gonna need to time this. Oh, stupid little dogs. Oh no, the little dog is beating me. Oh my gosh. Your threat is actually nuts. Yeah, your DPS is pretty nuts. Alright. Last boss. Oh, we got a couple mobs in this room, I guess. I'm gonna eat again. Oh,
I'm
man.
excited for 40.
You're what?
I'm excited for 40.
For level 40? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
excited to see where
jeez.
mages are.
I think mages are going to be really good at 40. They just feel like they're one of the ones that, like, they were missing so much from their kids at level 25, you know? Alright, that curse might suck a little bit. I don't know if they stack, but maybe stun on these guys if they do stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna try stunning it. I think it was on cooldown last time.
Yeah, no worries. But a little bit of extra damage shrink during the boss fight shouldn't be too bad? Question mark? Alright, so the one thing is I'm gonna need to line of sight really well on this.
Yeah, good luck. We don't have heals.
That just means you gotta kill him before he kills me, right? Well, I've got the soul
something
stone,
like that.
so I can still pop back up. Let's make sure I use my health stone, so let's make another health stone. Yeah, 5 minutes on this curse. I don't think it's, I don't think it's worth to wait 4 minutes. Alright, I'll eat up to full, and then we'll pull the boss and see what happens. I've got... Yeah, this should be fine. Oh, I should be line of sighting these, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no, I can't line of sight in that position. Oh, okay, good, I got him. Oh my gosh. Oh, uh-oh, there's a mine.
Oh yeah, this thing. Right, that makes
Just
it a little
survive.
harder.
3, 2, 1. Where'd he go? Alright, he's over here. Alright, I got him. I'm gonna try to keep line of sighting. No!
Ow.
7 seconds.
That's
have bubble?
fine. Oh yeah, I'm gonna bubble.
2, 1. Got him back. Oh my gosh. We forgot about that whole mind control thing. That could make this much more difficult. Oh, very
It worked out
nice.
pretty well.
Yeah, everything went pretty good, all things considered. But yeah, and we got a little bit of DE, although almost all of the BOP items were green. That was like kind of crummy luck, I think, on that. Oh, I'm gonna die to this curse. That's super fun.
Wait, no you won't.
Nah, I'm eating. I think I'll be fine. Oh man. You got any plans for tonight?
Not particularly. More code, Maple
More
Story,
code.
and WoW, and the usual, and talking to friends, and
Good stuff. Oh man. Well, hey, I think what's up, Voldabra Dev? We just finished out our interview series, which is called Testimonials from Tech. And this is Acorn here, so you can catch the interview on YouTube. I streamed on YouTube as well, so there's a really nice VOD. And we finish off the testimonials with a fun optional gaming portion. So Acorn and I are guildies in Classic WoW. We're playing Season of Discovery with Melky and some of the people in his community. And we've been having a blast, so we decided to duo man a dungeon, or duo clear a dungeon. And this was very fun. But yeah, so anyways, let's go back to, I think we'll wrap up at this point, because I should probably go and check on the wife and kids, hang out with family a bit. Where is the interview thing? Yeah, so hey, everyone, if you're watching on YouTube as well, I haven't checked YouTube chat in an hour, and of course there's nobody there, because it's YouTube. Standard, but hey, Twitch chat, thank you so much for following, and Voldabra, thank you so much for that follow as well. I will be back streaming maybe later tonight. Some code has yet to be seen, but definitely tomorrow morning I should be live streaming some code. We'll keep working on our little Vite SPA thing. But yeah, this was so much fun. Acorn, thank you for this time. Thank you for sharing your awesome epic stories. And yeah, this will be out on YouTube as the uncut VOD right away, because I streamed it there. And then I've got a backlog. I'll confess, I do have the objective of slicing these up, and particularly like the gaming sections I'm going to slice up for a different channel. So they're not a part of these main interviews. But yes, I've got a backlog there because I need to do some editing, and I haven't gotten any of the 4 interviews up yet. But probably will sit down this weekend and grind through quite a bit of editing, and also gonna get some shorts. I think in particular, I think your interview here, we had some really good shorts. So I'll make some good stories, some good little clips. So if you're interested, be looking for those on the social medias, which I guess I can use my commands. All caps socials because I'm angry when I type. But yeah, this was awesome. Thank you for your time. Any final thoughts, requests, anything for Twitch chat?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a great time. Like, this was awesome.
And everything worked out great considering how much I like hadn't set up on this PC. Like I literally realized 30 minutes before the interview time that the last time I did one of these, I was on my old PC, which is now not plugged into anything and not at all functional. I was like, oh, I'm going to scramble a little bit here, but we made it work. Tech worked great. Thank you, ping.gg, for the shared video connections at high quality. It works pretty fantastic. But yeah, anyways, hope you have a great evening, Acorn, and Twitch chat. Take it easy.
Thanks, you too.